It started on a quiet Friday night in November. The kind of night where the wind sounds like whispers and even the trees seem to lean in, listening. I had just moved into my new house in rural Pennsylvania, a two-story Victorian that I got for almost nothing at a government auction. The locals said no one wanted it because it was bad luck. I thought it was superstition. I was wrong. The first few days were peaceful. The house smelled of old wood and dust, but it had character. Creaky floors, tall windows, and a staircase that looked like it belonged in a movie. I told myself I'd fix it up, maybe flip it someday. But something about the place didn't feel right from the start. It began small. The first night, I heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, dragging steps, like someone walking barefoot across the hallway. I froze, listening. The sound stopped. When I finally gathered the courage to check, no one was there. Just my reflection in the window, barely visible in the moonlight. The next morning, I found muddy footprints near the back door. They were too big to be mine. I brushed it off. Maybe an animal got in. But that night, I locked every door and window. On the fourth night, I woke up to the faint sound of humming. A woman's voice. It was coming from the basement. My heart pounded as I grabbed a flashlight and went down. The air grew colder with every step. The basement smelled of mildew and something else, something rotten. The humming stopped when I reached the bottom. My light flickered. I pointed it around. The walls were covered in scratch marks. Some were deep, fresh. I turned around and saw something carved into the wooden beam. He is still here. That was the first time I thought about leaving. But I didn't, because curiosity can be stronger than fear until it kills you. A week later, my friend Marcus came over. He was the kind of guy who didn't believe in ghosts, always joking. I told him about the noises, the humming, the writing in the basement. He laughed and said, "Dude, you've been watching too many horror movies." That night, Marcus stayed over. Around 2 a.m., the house came alive again. Doors creaked, footsteps moved across the hall. Marcus jumped up, pale as death. "You heard that, right?" We followed the sound to the attic. The door was locked from the outside. We forced it open. Inside was a rocking chair, gently swaying, even though there was no wind. Marcus shined his flashlight around and froze. In the corner, there was a figure, a man tall and thin, facing the wall. "Hey!" Marcus yelled, stepping closer. The man turned around. His face was wrong, like it had been stretched, twisted, barely human. The flashlight went out. Marcus screamed. I ran. When the light came back on, the figure was gone. Marcus refused to come back after that night. Couldn't blame him, but I stayed. Something in that house wanted me there. I could feel it. Every night after that, the activity got worse. Whispers from empty rooms. My name written in dust on the mirrors. Once, I woke up to find every door in the house wide open, even the attic. I called the county clerk to ask about the house's history. She hesitated before saying, "Sir, that house shouldn't have been sold. The previous owner disappeared, never found. The house was sealed for investigation, but someone must have listed it by mistake." When I checked the police report, my blood ran cold. The previous owner's name was Daniel Wright, the same name carved into the basement wall beneath the words, "He is still here." That night, I dreamt of a man standing at the foot of my bed, his eyes hollow, his voice whispering, "Why did you come back?" I woke up to the same voice, but this time I wasn't dreaming. I bolted out of bed, grabbed my car keys, and ran toward the front door. But when I opened it, the outside world was gone. There was nothing but fog. Endless, choking fog. I stumbled back, gasping, and slammed the door shut. The house began to shake, the walls moaning, the lights flickering like lightning. I screamed, "What do you want from me?" And then, in a voice that sounded like it came from every corner of the house at once, it whispered, "To stay." I don't remember passing out. When I woke up, the house was silent again. Calm. Too calm. My phone said it was Sunday, but according to the calendar on the wall, it had been 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks gone. I tried to leave again, packed my bags, loaded the car, and drove until my tank ran dry. But every road led me back to that same dirt path, and that same house waiting at the end of it. I realized then I hadn't bought a house. The house had bought me. Now I hear new voices at night. Sometimes I see lights outside, like someone else has arrived, maybe another buyer. And when I hear the front door open, I whisper the same words that were once said to me, "Why did you come back?"